Hey, Book Crows, it's Thyme, and I will be your host today. And I am joined by Beryl, as always. Maybe one day we'll have Dalton on as a guest, just for funsies.
Maybe. We can say that we have the guest of the head cold today.
Oh yeah, we do have a guest of a head cold.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you travel for the holidays.
Uh,
And today we will be reviewing Wickedly Ever After by R. Lee Fryar. But before we get into that, Beryl, what is your current read, and have you picked up any books recently? I was going to say today, as if you went to a store today.
nah, I had groceries delivered today. But I did go to Powell's while I was in Portland over the holiday. I have
Yay.
a horrible story of me getting pissed off at Powell's, but that's a different story. I managed to pick up Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews and Thorn. Thorn? Is it Thorn or Thorn Season? It's over there in my bags that I haven't unpacked
Oh,
yet.
the pink book that I also have,
Yeah,
Thorn Season.
Thorn Season. I almost bought two more books, but then I was like, nah, I need to save money. I'm a broke college student. I did put down what the two books were though, so I'll get them eventually. And right now, I can't decide if I want to pick up reading Invisible Life of Addie Rue or if I just want to dive straight first into Hazelthorn.
Uh, I have no opinions on either. I looked at Hazelthorn as the cover, but I'm not a big person who likes body horror, and that one has a bit of that.
Yeah.
So you can have that.
Oh,
You can keep that one for yourself.
I get to keep all the CG Drews stuff. Ugh.
Yes. I actually, when I was looking at the Black Friday stuff for Owlcrate, they had the My Mortal Demise and whatever the other book is, but I wasn't able to buy it because it was glitching at first, and then by the time I was able to get into it, it sold out. But I found out that that book has some mild cannibalism in it, apparently, so I'm like, oh, maybe that was for the best then.
The universe intervened on your behalf.
It did. I can't do zombies. That was a thing that was in Daughter of the Siren Queen. There's a little bit where they end up on an island and monster people turn into cannibals thing. But it wasn't like an issue reading that. But it is one of those things where that's why I can't do zombie movies. I don't know.
I have very different issues with zombie movies than that.
Oh, what is your issue with zombie movies then?
My issue with zombie movies is that, okay, I recently did this entire spiel to my classmates because I had a zombie thing in class that pissed me off. Zombie movies should not be about the zombies, and it should not be about just the survival of zombies. Zombie movies and zombie media in general thrives when zombies are just a background or a catalyst, and you're focusing either on a commentary about society as large or interpersonal relationships between the survivors. Those are the two things that you should be focusing on with zombie movies. If you are focusing on this white man power fantasy of surviving and getting the girl and all that, you are just writing survival porn at that point, and please stop.
Yeah, it's that is a big thing online, is the aspect of, oh, could you survive a zombie apocalypse thing? And that became a big deal, especially since Walking Dead came out. I can't watch The Walking Dead. I watched a part of it with my cousin. Zombie stuff gives me nightmares, first of all, but also the aspect of just the mind you, this was only like first couple seasons, the wife person sleeping with her best friend while grieving, well, her husband's best friend while grieving the loss of her husband, who actually isn't dead, and it's only been like a couple months, and then the husband wakes up in the hospital where he was left, and then he ends up escaping the hospital somehow. How he does not have muscle dystrophy is beyond me. Then finds his wife and his best friend, and then there's this whole aspect of the wife and the wife is like, oh god, he's actually alive shit. Like, there's a scene where she's sleeping with his best friend, and she still wears their wedding rings on a necklace, and it's very obvious, like, he doesn't like the fact that they're there, so she has to, like, take them off before they bone. Yeah.
Has
I don't
anybody
know.
heard
I didn't like it.
you don't swap spit with your friends in via secondary contact, please? If you want to swap spit with your friends, just kiss or fuck your friends. You don't need to get with their significant others.
Yeah. There I think it's the aspect of, how do I put this? Straight people can't imagine not having sex, I think is the best way to put it.
True. Straight people, like, I am convinced that straight people as a whole are the most sex obsessed, but also in denial of being asexual people in existence, because what the fuck is going on there? What is happening?
Yeah.
Straight people, you can comment your opinions, they might be heard.
Yeah, they might. I mean, God, I was reading a book not for the podcast, just for my funsies. Because I'm like, it's Thanksgiving weekend. I'm not doing anything. I have a 4-day weekend. I'm going to read a book for funsies. And not read the book I'm going to be doing an episode on because I don't like the book. I've just been procrastinating reading it.
You're so valid.
And God, every couple of paragraphs, I mean, I sent you a picture of the book, like,
yeah.
Every couple of paragraphs was just thinking about how much they wanted to bone each other and kinky Santa Claus, and yeah, and then they got trapped in the same house in a snowstorm, so naturally, things happened. Maybe I'll review that next year.
Maybe. God.
Because, like, shout out to Lori Gilmore, she's able to get, I bought this book knowing it's like a Hallmark book with steam, but I was not expecting some of the things in that book. Like, she's definitely a great author. I definitely buy that two people who just met, definitely are attracted to each other. But yeah, my logic kept kicking in and going, what? And then I kept having to think, was I this way when I met my husband? I don't think so.
I'm so glad that my long-term relationship was met via the internet. And also via our mutual ex cheating on me with her. That's a whole other issue.
I mean, like, so I have to talk to Dalton when I read books like that. Because I'm like, is this how it is for you? Like, that's what I have to do. I have to do that. I'm like, you're a straight allosexual person. Help me.
The singular straight, the token straight. There has to be a token straight in every group. Dalton is the token straight.
Yeah.
I have the class that I made an entire presentation about booktok on, and we've done the dating simulator assignment for the video game making assignment.
Yes.
But yeah, we have two token straights in that group, but like still token straights.
Yeah. Apologies to listeners. It is winter. And I live near the Great White North, that is Canada. So I have pets inside. So if you hear my pets, sucks. So we begin with Hector. And this is a dual perspective book, but I don't really get into it much. I am summarizing real quick what happens in this book, because there's some minor subplots and things like that, and the getting to know you portion, I just summarize very shortly in like a couple lines, because so much happens in this book. We begin with Hector, who is an apprentice to a wicked witch, and is stirring a cauldron on a battlefield. A few other witches show up, and it's clear, they're not really into Hector. They're like, why is he your apprentice? And they're like, well, the magic has spoken, or whatever. They also don't like that he's a farm boy, and I believe he's the only male witch, by the way.
Okay.
So maybe they're just sexist, I don't know. Two witches, including his master, carve out their hearts for the spell. This is a spell that's supposed to bring 1,000 years of peace. Now, mind you, witches carve out their hearts all the time. It is not something that affects them. They don't die, nothing like that. Like, Hector himself carves out his heart. Most of the time, they destroy it. Hector and the other main character of the book, Ida, do not destroy their hearts. That actually is a portion of the storyline that is talked about subtly, because one of the big reasons why they are supposed to destroy it is so they don't have feelings, basically.
Okay.
So, his master and another one, they carve out their heart. He does make a side comment of how he wonders who the other witch, Hilda, could have been have feelings for, attached to, anything like that, because she winces when she carves it out, and that's one of the other things. If you become attached to anyone, if you fall in love with anyone, it will hurt when you do it. That's why you're supposed to do it real early on and destroy it. So the cauldron explodes, but nothing happens. And one of the big things is when the cauldron explodes or anything like that, when there's a volatile reaction, there's supposed to be a 2-step process. But where the cauldron was are 2 seeds. One is black and one is red. The black one is given to Hector, and the red one, which Hilda takes and says it's time for them to get an apprentice. And that seed turns into the red rose bush, which Ida watches over. So the black one turns into a black rose bush, which is at Hector's necromancy castle fun thing. And one of the big reasons why they're like, oh, well, we can't get rid of Hector. He's really strong in necromancy. Like, no one else is that strong. Okay. Is one of the other things. So we cut forward to about 990-ish years later, because that was just the prologue.
Oh my god. All right. 900-year difference. The end of the spell has happened.
No, it has kind of. There's a bit of a confusion there. So one of the big things is he mentions, something else is supposed to happen. So the entire time I'm reading this book thinking something else is supposed to happen. I think the happily ever after ritual is supposed to be the what happens after portion, which has been happening for like 990 years at this point, basically.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure. I actually thought that the 2 of them getting together was supposed to be what fixes the happily ever after magic mishap that's happening. It's not. We don't get the clearest explanation, but that's okay. That was one of the big things. Maybe I missed it? I don't know. The entire time, Hector and Ida are under the assumption that what happens ruined the magic and they need to fix it. Like, stuff like that. Let me just get into it. So, 990-ish years later, Hector is a old, 900-plus-year-old immortal man. And Hector and Ida are like frenemies, colleagues, people. Okay? Ida is the good witch of the north, and he is the wicked witch of the west. Fun. There are a lot of little calls to other stories in this book, which I found hilarious.
Good fun.
Yes. One of the things is they have been sending letters back and forth to each other for like hundreds of years at this point. And at somewhere along the line, they started to prank each other while doing this. So Hector and Ida are preparing for this year's happily ever after thing, where a prince will marry what is supposed to be a commoner princess. Okay? Like a common girl turned princess. One of the big things with this is there's supposed to be a dragon that kidnaps the princess, and then the prince saves her, and then they get married and they live happily ever after. And that is supposed to sustain the peaceful magic that has been happening. Okay? And this magic makes it so famines aren't a thing, war isn't a thing, everything's, happy-go-lucky, I guess is the best way to put it. Because before there was war and famine and disease. Yeah, just a little sacrifice, just a little one. Forcing people into marriage is fine.
Yeah, just a treat of a sacrifice.
So, the prince is also, supposed to go through a bunch of trials to get to the princess to go save him from the dragon. And one of the big things is they have, come up with rules along the way through the 900 years. Like, one of the big things is the prince is not supposed to actually kill the dragon anymore. That's one of the big ones. So, Hector is in charge of dragons, and anything that's basically considered a monster is in his domain, basically, because,
necromancy.
Nobody wants to deal with them. Yeah, and necromancy and all that. So ghouls, things like that. And he's kind of made it so there's this peace between the dragons and the humans in a way, to where they're no longer, constantly trying to kill each other. And so he's on his way to go see his godson, who is a dragon prince. And his name is Alistair. I hope I pronounced that right.
Probably.
And before he leaves, he opens a letter from Ida, which has a laughing charm on it. And one of the big things, you don't laugh at a dragon. And he's like, well, I can't not go. I can't refuse going to see the king of the dragons and his son and the prince. So he basically wears this mask and says that he has a cold or whatever. And he's just trying not to laugh in front of the Dragon King, his wife. And then he goes to see Alistair because Alistair doesn't want to go kidnap the princess. He's like, this is all archaic bullshit. I shouldn't have to do this. This is ridiculous, mate. And Hector and his Alistair's dad are like, it's tradition. We have to do this for the happily ever after. Well, Hector accidentally laughs and gets turned into a crispy Hector. He's still alive, but he's a little crisped.
A little crisped, yeah.
A little crisped. So this, naturally, Hector's not happy with Ida, sends her a letter the day she is supposed to give the red rose to the commoner turned princess. Now, one of the big things is, over the years, a committee was set up to select the princess instead of the magic. So Ida actually hasn't been selecting the princesses for the past few years. She's just been giving whoever the committee selects a rose and calling it a day. Well, she opens Hector's letter, and she essentially is affected by a truth curse. They call it a candor curse. She basically just says whatever she's feeling.
Oh, no.
So the princess is this snotty little bitch who is pretending to essentially be the little matchstick girl. She's actually not. She's from a rich family. And this other girl comes in the room with her, and her entire point of being there is calling out the fact that this is all bullshit and this bitch is not actually a commoner or poor or anything. And Ida essentially has, like, had enough. She's like, all you shut up. The magic selects, the girl who doesn't want to be the princess. Her name is Amber. So Ida gives her the rose. The other lady is like, I'm gonna tell my father on you. All Draco Malfoy style, basically. Because she's like, I was supposed to be the princess. Yay, corruption.
Yeah.
So...
Good old fantasy corruption. It exists everywhere.
Yeah. And so she also ends up hurting the feelings of her staff a couple times, which she usually does not do at all. And then she realizes what Hector has done, and she's all pissy. So they essentially decide they're no longer friends.
They were friends in the first place?
They were frenemies, is the best way to put it.
Uh-huh.
So Amber doesn't want to be the princess. She's like, how dare, this is all ridiculous. I just want to be a blacksmith, like... I am supposed to take over my dad's blacksmithing shop, all that fun jazz. So they stop speaking to each other. And there's obviously, they notice the lack of each other's letters and stuff. They actually think about writing to each other. Hector actually writes out a letter and then just throws it in a fire. So, now, they cannot avoid each other forever. Because, they're supposed to do this happily ever after thing. And they end up seeing each other at this sports ball jousting event thing, I think. It's a sporting event.
Fantasy sporting event where we can make the main characters forcibly interact. Yes.
Yes. And so one of the big things is Hector was like, I'm not going to the dinner thing. Because he never goes to them in the first place. Hector's a little hermit. I feel Hector.
Mood.
And so at this dinner thing that was the previous night, usually is when the prince drinks... the love potion that, will make them fall in love with the common princess, okay? He did not drink it that night, okay? Because his parents, the asshole king who literally injured the king of the dragons when he wasn't supposed to, when he was a prince, and saved, his pretentious princess that even Ida hates. And he's like, he's fully like, oh yeah, my son can like injure and kill dragons, that's fine, whatever, he's not supposed to. Yeah, asshole king and asshole queen decided they're going to make it a public spectacle. As, one will. So they're like on this big Jumbotron thing, and Hector's looking at Ida like, bitch, did you know about this? And Ida's like, no, I didn't know about this. And he's like, no, I bet you knew about this. I bet you planned this whole thing. Like I said, they're frenemies.
Uh-huh.
And so the prince is supposed to drink it at this, fun little thing. The prince obviously is not enjoying himself, and one of the things is there's a rumor going around that the prince is in love with his guard, that the prince might be a little gay.
Hell yeah, baby.
So things end up turning on a head when it's supposed to be the actual happily ever after event. Okay, the princess doesn't want to do it. She shows up in full armor, ready to just fight the dragon herself. Okay,
we love a queen. We love this.
Hector has to verbally yell at his godson to come and do his thing. Well, the dragon decides, okay, yeah, fine, I'll do this, but I'm also setting fire to the stadium in the process.
Oh, all of the people involved are so unhappy with each other.
Yes. And mind you, the magic chose Amber specifically. This was not Ida. Like, the actual magic chose, like, the rose glowed or whatever, I think. Mm-hmm. So, what ends up happening is, to make it so that Amber does not, kill the dragon princeling, Hector goes and tries to put a spell on the dragon, and Ida tries to put a spell on the princess, basically to make it so they calm down and stuff like that, and he can kidnap her, take her away, and then the prince can go save her. Well, they end up striking the opposite person that they're wanting to strike. Hector strikes Amber, Ida strikes Alistair, and essentially Alistair is now very protective of Amber.
Oh no.
You see where this is going.
Oh no.
So he does, and she is very protective of Alistair in return. So they, pick each other up, they go fly off. And now Hector and Ida are like, well, we fucked up.
990 years of this, and we finally fuck up. Those two are gonna have sex.
On top of this, the prince doesn't show up and he runs away.
Princey boy. You could have had a beard.
And he goes off and marries his guard.
Princey boy, you could have had a beard. You could have just talked to her. Say, hey, can we have a lavender marriage? You want to go do your blacksmith thing? I want to go fuck my guard. It's fine.
Yeah, they literally could have just done that. You good?
Yeah. Did you hear
in a moment?
Did you hear the screech, the pterodactyl screech?
No, it didn't pick up on the mic.
It didn't pick up on Discord.
Okay. So, Ida and Hector go off to fix the magic, okay? And, because they think it's broken, and they intend to go and get Amber so she can marry the prince. Because in their opinion, if Amber marries the prince, it will all be fixed. And one of the big reasons why they think that it is broken, which I didn't put in my notes, but I'm going to talk about, there's a few things. So, each of them have a little gnomey guy, who is like their little butler helper guy, who's also their bestie, okay? So, they met on an online dating service, okay? Each knew that they were working for a witch. They didn't know who. Well, they end up falling in love and shit. Hector actually tries to talk to his buddy guy through a weird magic marble thing shortly after coitus. like this is the best sex that ever sexed for these gnomes, okay?
Oh boy.
Well, upon Ida and Hector think that each of them have implanted their gnome to essentially fuck them over, basically. They're like, yeah, you on purposely made it so my gnome would fall in love with your gnome, whatever. Like, you set this up to break the heart or whatever. Well, partially because Ida thinks Hector's a terrible person, and he's not. He's a little fluff boy.
So, why does she think that he's just a terrible person because they keep playing pranks on each other? Like,
no, because he's a wicked witch, obviously. And Hector thinks that Ida is a goody two-shoes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, like, they don't really know anything about each other or their magic or anything. Like, they don't even know what the other person does for the happily ever after, okay? This is shit that they end up talking about on the road.
They're co-workers who don't know what each other's jobs are?
Basically, yeah.
Forget about being popular. Just start fucking talking to each other. I was gonna make like
miscommunication is a big thing in this book.
I was gonna be like you're gonna be popular. But no. Fuck off. So their gnomes are, like, infatuated with each other. And they think it's because there's love magic going off everywhere, and that's why. When in actuality, this is just a case of true love. They actually give them a potion, so they, like, heartbreak symptom. It doesn't work. They see two scarecrows fucking, because one of the things that Hector does is he animates the scarecrows, because the crows don't react to regular scarecrows. But they fuck.
Yeah, well, that's how they reproduce. Is scarecrows fucking. Yeah. In broad daylight.
Scarecrows fucking.
Yes.
In broad daylight.
Yeah. Which is not normal.
If only they had a brain.
So they learn more about each other. She learns that he is just a little fluff boy, like a little, like he looks like a shadow daddy, but he isn't a shadow daddy because actual shadow daddies respect women and shit. He has animated living plants that are his besties, adores his little gnome buddy, is all around just an absolute champ of a dude.
Who is this man and how can I become him?
Yes. Exactly. They learn about each other's magic and all of this fun jazz. She learns about all the shit he's been doing with the dragons and things. And one of the other things is they're, getting closer. There's also, some feelings developing. It only takes 900 years and you finally want to just, yeah. So they get to where Amber and Alistair are because Alistair's mom actually calls Hector and is like, hey, bruh. Well, he doesn't call. They write a letter. But somehow it gets there real fast. And she's like, you need to come fix this shit, sir? Excuse you? You're telling me my son is mated to a human? Excuse me? Mr. Wizard Man?
Why does my son want to fuck a human?
They've already done it.
Oh, I wish I could.
They are mated, okay? And she's now supposed to be Queen of the Dragons because his dad was like, bruh, you can't be married to a human. And he fought his dad and won. And his dad's actually pretty proud of him. He's like, look, if we go to the Dragon Council and we come with this little feisty woman, like, yeah, she might be a feisty little shit, but they're not going to accept that.
Yeah.
Sir. Obviously. So, Hector and Ida, without having a conversation about it, like, they try to convince them, you're not actually in love, it's just a weird love magic, you need to go marry the prince, bruh. And they're like, no, we love each other. So eventually, Hector comes to the realization, like, oh no, this is a case of true love. So I guess we're gonna have to fix it by turning her into a dragon. But I'm not gonna tell Ida I'm gonna turn her into a dragon. So he turns her into a dragon. Ida turns Alistair into a human. Like I said, they just don't fucking talk.
The miscommunication trope taken in the correct direction because it's for comedy.
So then, this is described as a fairy tale romp, so...
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, she also enchants him to, go sleep in a thing. Because her thing is, oh, well, monster turned human. It's perfect, People love that story, Beauty and the Beast, whatever. Meanwhile, Hector's like, no, I'll just turn her into a goddamn dragon. This will be perfect.
Honestly, I would take being a dragon any day of the week. Hector's on the right. Well, how can I become this man?
Right? Like, he's like, okay, well, we gotta fix this not just for, the happily ever after. I gotta fix this for the dragons because otherwise, they're not only would they kill Alistair, they would kill his family.
Yes.
And then they put someone else in charge, and I'm not gonna be able to work with those guys. Like, come on. He's thinking big picture.
Mm-hmm.
So she puts him under a sleep curse in a little cave thing, and... So one of the ways that this magic works is Ida's magic, she had to do a fuck ton to do this, okay? Because, transfiguration magic. She had to essentially make new life in order to have this happen. That's how her magic works. Hector's works by killing things.
Okay.
Because, necromancy.
Two halves of the same coin.
Yeah, so they eventually, get to where the prince boy is. Well, he's a dragon in a little cave thing who fell asleep and then turned back into a dragon to do so. Because, she was supposed to kiss him and then, forever human, whatever. That's not how this works, honey. You should, So he had to then use more magic to get him out of that situation. Because essentially, he was stuck in this little area. And this is when we figure out, they save the prince and everything. Amber's gonna go off and be like, hey, Dad, I'm married to a dragon, now I'm gonna turn into a dragon, whatever. Happy-go-lucky, I guess. Because the prince is already off with his guard. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
This is when we find out Hector's gnome is actually a construct.
Oh.
He's a zombie. He's dead.
Huh.
So they go back to Hector's castle. All of his plants are dead because that's what he used to turn Amber into a dragon.
Oh.
So then he, reanimates his gnome buddy. And he does this by giving up his immortality because, life for a life, basically.
Bruh, just kill a deer.
Just kill. His entire thought process is he's going to retire from the Council of Cardinal Witches and we can't have happily ever after anymore. We got to give it up. We got to stop it. And I should know best. I was there when it started, basically. And Ida's like, no, I'm going to give up being on the Council of Witches. You can't do that, bruh. And he's like, well, I already gave up my immortality, so what are you going to do, bitch? So they come up with this plan. They go to the other two witches who are absolute bitches, mind you. Ida's the only good witch, okay? She's the only good witch. All of the rest of them are wicked witches.
Amazing. Ida stands on business.
Yeah. So the other witches aren't accepting this. They're like, well, we can't get rid of happily ever after. Because they're, essentially corrupt politicians these days. They're like, well, no one's gonna respect us or anything. How are we gonna keep influence in the courts or whatever? Hector, I believe it's Hector, turns her to stone basically, but not until she strips Ida of her immortality.
Oh boy.
So then they go and dig up and destroy the red rose bush, and the black one's already destroyed at this point. And that's the end of happily ever after, which means, famines, floods, unhappiness, things like that. You gotta find your own true love now, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, that was some minute skipping of a few things. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a lot of lack of communication. Some of it is for comedy. The magic, like I said, I thought them falling in love and stuff would be what solidified the magic and fixed it, but it wasn't.
Wait, that's the end of the book?
Yeah, that's the end of the book.
I thought you were going to be like, okay, that's the halfway point.
No, that's the end of the book. There was a lot more, there was a lot, there's a ghoul at one point. There's a deal with Hector wanting to destroy his heart because he realizes he's having feelings for Ida. So he gives it to the ghoul to eat, and then the ghoul gives it to Ida for a price. So then Ida keeps his heart, basically.
Okay. I mean, straight. Okay.
Yeah, so there are some minute subplots that I just skipped over. Like I said, I wasn't going to go into fantastical detail.
Huh.
But yeah, it ends with them essentially being like, yeah, happily ever after has to, fuck off. And the sneak peek at the end of this book is actually the queen, of the mother of the gay prince, basically hiring a hitman.
Oh my god. Happily ever after's over. Time to go.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my god.
And yeah, they're just gonna retire to a gingerbread cottage, basically.
Huh.
That's their plan.
Not quite 1,000 years of happily ever after, understood?
Yeah, I was not expecting the ending.
Question. With all of the other characters having so much sex throughout the book, do our main characters have sex?
Yes. There is one sex scene.
Okay. Alright.
Fun fact, though. Hector's a virgin.
Is Ida?
No.
Oh, wonderful. A reversal of the trope.
Yeah, so Hector has never done it. They do communicate during the sex, though. Good. Which is nice. They can't communicate outside of it.
When it comes to the bedroom, communication flows freely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was the head cold talking.
Blame the head cold, sure.
Oh no.
So one of the big miscommunication things is the fact that Ida did not know that Alistair was a prince, a dragon prince. So that's why they're able to fall in love, is because he's a prince.
Yeah.
Of dragons.
And in theory, the happily ever after would have worked because he's a prince.
You'd think. Yeah. But they destroy the roses. But also, no one ever took the love potion from the red rose.
Oh, then it wouldn't have worked in the first place.
Yeah, because the gay prince's guard had the potion the entire time. He was supposed to give it to the prince, and he never did.
Wow, there's your happily ever after right there. True love. There were so many routes you could have taken to get to the correct answer.
Literally, though, so one of the other things is the prince's dad literally is like, yeah, I'm gonna send your guard off on some death-suicide mission. Like, he literally just tries to get the guard out of the way.
I think this book does an excellent job of showing off that even though the world is technically in happily ever after, people are still suffering. Yeah, and it also does a good job of Hector and Ida realize that, what they're doing is no longer helping or good anymore. Like, there was good intentions when they set it up, but it needs, they even talk about, including women and men in the future, things like that, trying to find a way to fix happily ever after so that it can work. And then they're like, well, how would people accept that, that situation? Mm-hmm. So, they talk about how it needs to change with the times, but they ultimately come with the opinion of, we just need to leave it alone. Like, no one's wanting this anymore, so it needs to go. Like, the only people wanting it are the older people, which
is a really good commentary on it, and I did like that. I just have some questions on how the magic works.
Yeah.
Because I'm slightly confused.
Why is the magic so ill-defined? Like, it's one thing to write a magic system that is ill-defined, where the point is that it is a loose magic system. It's another thing where you have magic so prominent in the story, and the people are supposedly masters of their craft, and we are still unable to understand what's happening.
Yeah, and, there are talks of the magic and things like that, so it's possible I missed something. I don't think so. And one of the other things is with happily ever after now no longer a thing, there's going to be things like famine and disease and things like that again, and war, because all of that's been, kept out of it in a way. Not really, considering, humans still wanted to kill dragons and shit, but it's one of those things where I guess it's happily ever after only for the people, but I also like that it shows that something that was supposed to be good can still be corrupted. Yeah. You get greedy people in there. And part of it is they weren't letting the magic do its thing. So I feel like the magic on purposely was like, no, you're not using me how you're supposed to. Because it kind of sounds like the magic is a living entity, in a way.
Okay. The magic was just like, something's not right here. Something's up. The purpose of the spell has run its course. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and it was only supposed to be 1,000 years. You're pretty close.
Yeah, close enough.
And the fact that the prince is from a princess that was chosen by the committee, not actually the magic itself, is another thing.
Yeah.
So, there could also be that aspect of it.
Something's gone awry. A lot of things have.
Yeah, something's definitely gone awry. I don't think it's... And they try to say that it's only just now out of balance and things are causing crazy now. And I honestly feel like the best way to explain it is the magic was like, nah, bruh, I'm done. I'm good. Me Gucci. I picked the person who's gonna, move us on to the next generation of shit. But that does mean there would end up being, some toppling of current empire shit that's gonna make it so it's gotta... I am interested to... I don't know if I want to read the next book, but I'm also interested to see what happens with it gone away.
Yeah.
I
mean, Ida's definitely a wicked witch in the people's eyes now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
They're just gonna have, little wicked witch babies over there.
Yeah, the magic is the big question for me. It's that big stickler point that I keep coming back to. Because, it's kind of... I've had this before. I have it a lot with conversations sometimes, where when I started this book, I thought I understood the magic, but by the end of it, I felt like I didn't.
That's not great. That's not a good feeling.
Yeah, that's the only reason why for me this gets a 3.9-ish. Is because I did want to read this all in one sitting. I did enjoy reading it. I didn't because I had to work the next day. And I started reading later than I should have. But I feel like I needed some more explanation on the magic. What exactly is the happily ever after spell?
Yeah.
Because they do tell you, they do have the spell written down, but it's not exactly very explanatory. It literally says... No longer will war take its toll, nor famine make the round. Two hearts combined do make a whole, when hammer weds the crown. Now, mind you, you could read it as hammer and is Amber being the blacksmith.
Yeah.
And, he was a prince, Preserve this peace with true love's kiss, in a rose conceal. Red rose will bring eternal bliss, black rose will make it real.
So wait, what did the black rose do again?
So, the black rose is the one that Hector had.
Yeah.
And he gives it to the dragon. And the dragon is supposed to be an obstacle that gets in the way of the prince. And essentially he has to get over the obstacle in order to go and save the princess. Now, there are some points in this book where Ida has her little journal entry things where it talks about if they're not really feeling the love or whatever, you can do the one bed trick. to consummate things. And then there's the morning after thing, stuff like that. But yeah, essentially the black rose is supposed to be obstacles that get in the way.
Okay. That's so ill-defined.
It is. It is. And that's why I kept thinking, because they've really put an emphasis on the fact of, when the cauldron explodes, it's supposed to be something happens after. And so I kept thinking, okay, what's supposed to be what happens? What's supposed to be the second stage? Is it supposed to be, what happens with Amber and Alistair? Is it supposed to be the rose planting thing? I thought maybe it was supposed to be Hector and Ida getting it on or whatever. I don't know. But it seemed like there was just nothing. Or maybe it was the whole happily ever after ceremony thing. I don't know.
I guess? I made another box. I don't get... You don't get it. You're explaining it, so clearly I'm not going to get it if you don't get it. But, sometimes these are puzzles that the other person can help us figure out. This sounds like a complete mess.
Yeah. And it just ends with them just, destroying the rose bushes so that it can never happen again. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. War and famine isn't a great thing to have, but,
No.
If we can stop just those things, like war, famine, plague, and, forget all of the true love bullshit, I think the world would be a better place and we'd be fine with that.
I feel like they could have come up with a different spell.
Yeah, but then they'd have to carve out their hearts.
They already carved out their hearts. They're just in a box.
Together.
I mean, they do put them back into each other, so there's that. She does give his heart back, and he's like, what? I thought the ghoul ate it, and she's like, nah, bruh, I've had it this whole time.
Good dramatic irony there.
And she picks hers up from under the bed, her bed that's in a chest and stuff. They're literally fleeing her little castle thing when they're going and, destroying the rose bush and shit.
Okay. Give each other their hearts back.
And then they run off to a gingerbread cottage.
And then they what?
They run off to a gingerbread cottage. That's where they're going to retire, is a gingerbread cottage.
Don't tell Hansel and Gretel.
That's literally one of the jokes, is his master lived in, a gingerbread cottage.
Did she eat Gretel and turn Hansel into her... Okay.
There's fun little hints to original fairy tales that I really liked.
It does sound enjoyable.
It is an enjoyable read. I do recommend it, but be prepared to not have 100% of a grip on what's going on with the magic.
Okay. All right.
That's one of the things that bothers me is, there was some foreshadowing that was not foreshadowing, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe it'll be explained in the next books. But, I mean, it's not like this is advertised as, it should have been answered in this book.
Is the next book even going to be... Would the next book follow them?
No, it follows the guy who's hunting them.
Huh? Just answer the damn questions, book.
Yeah, the sneak peek is literally about the guy who is hunting them and the queen hiring them, and it's yeah.
Alright, well, I guess... that guy gets to figure out what's going on, not our leading characters. The masters of their craft who sit on the council because they are such masters of their craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit... Yeah.
You could just say... if you had at least gone out of your way to say wibbly-wobbly, magic, whiny bullshit, I would be more okay with this. It's kind of like... I just listened to the final draft of Treachery of Swans. Remember how... I know... Remember how the book literally states in that one, intent is what causes the magic, and so if another mage touches somebody else's magic, things get really messy? That's acceptable. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're having two masters of the craft and you don't have rules like that established by the masters of the craft, what are you doing?
The only thing I can think of, like I said, is because, the princesses were not actually chosen by the magic, it started to get corrupted and the magic was not having it anymore. But it's one of those things where they should have come to that conclusion together at some point in the book. And they do, I feel like they do come to the right conclusion by being we need to abolish this, we literally just tried to force people into a marriage they didn't want.
Yeah. That's not happily ever after anymore.
Hello?
Yeah.
No, it's not. And one of the other things that bothered me is they also did not, they do come to, the Ida should leave the, Ida comes to the conclusion she should leave the council. Hector comes to the same conclusion he should leave the council. Stuff like that. But one of the other things is they also talk about how if they try to do certain things and people start questioning things, there would end up having people realize that, oh, well, Ida hasn't been doing this properly for XYZ. And I'm like, well, if you're gonna leave the council anyway,
Yeah.
why does it matter?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I understand they didn't have that conclusion when they originally were talking about it, but also, the other two cardinal witches were so fucking corrupt that I'm like, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fuck those witches.
Yeah.
Also, how do you kill a witch if they're immortal? I'm confused about that. Like, can they die?
Well, that depends on the definition of immortality. Is it immortal in the sense that, like, they will always live and therefore can't die? Or is immortal in the sense of they cannot die of old age?
I know that they can't die of old age. I mean, they're literally over 900 years old.
Yeah, so it could be that form of immortality where it's literally like you can still kill the person, but they won't die naturally.
Yeah, like, they still get injured. But, I mean, Hector gets, burnt to a crisp by a dragon.
So in theory, it is the first form of immortality where you can't get murdered either.
Yeah, but also they get stripped of their immortality.
How does that work?
I don't know. Like, I was like, okay, so are they going to turn to dust now? But they don't. They just continue living. So how long do they have left?
Maybe immortality pauses your aging?
They still age. Like, she has arthritis and shit.
Does she...
And he's an old man.
Do they look like youngins?
No. They look old. He's got, like, a long beard and shit.
Wait, there was a sex scene between two old people?
Yeah. There's a sex scene between two old people.
I'm sorry. I'm not hating on that. I just wasn't expecting it.
I guess I should have made that clear that they old.
Huh. I got two wrinkle bags just fucking each other in the hotel.
No, it wasn't even in a hotel, okay? It was in like a stable, like a little stable area.
Even better. I made another box.
I should mail this book to you.
Yes, please. Holy shit. I'm not excited about reading old people have sex. It's just so funny that I have to read it.
Oh, man.
That's a clip. Right there. They gotta transform themselves back into their young selves to, like, pretend to be high schoolers in an amusement park. By the way, you mentioned that the gnomes met each other on, like, an internet dating thing.
Yeah, like, it wasn't, like, internet. It was through, like, I think they said, like, spider webs?
We got fantasy internet, but everybody is messaging through, literal letters? Okay.
There's also, one of the fun things is, so each chapter starts out with either a section of, like, their little memoir things. Like, chapter 4 starts with a section from Hector that literally says, the only thing more offensive than laughing at a dragon is refusing to have tea with one. And later, sometimes you get letters and stuff. You also get newspaper articles.
Oh?
Or, like, rules of the Council of Cardinal Witches and things like that. So, that's how you find out about, like, the prince marrying his guard and, like, running off and just being like, fuck this.
Okay.
And it's hilarious because it's supposed to be, like, you know how these newspapers that people consider to be trash newspapers?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're, like, gossip columns, basically. Mm-hmm. That's essentially, like, this newspaper, they're like, oh, this is, like, a gossip column. You can't trust what's in it, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, in the back of their head going, fuck, it's telling the truth. And somehow we have to make it so that no one knows for parts of it.
Oh, amazing.
Because they literally have people who are calling for them to give them answers, like, what's going wrong, what's the fuck up. Mind you, the other two witches don't do shit throughout the whole book. They don't do shit. It's just Hector and Ida the whole time.
So, what I'm hearing
this whole thing
is that in the next book, not the next book, the third book, those two who don't do shit realize, oh yeah, I guess we were wicked after all, and then they fuck. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Are you just gonna make Wicked jokes this whole time?
Wait, was that a Wicked joke?
I can only assume.
No.
I haven't seen it.
No, that was not a Wicked joke.
Okay. Because earlier you were making a Wicked reference.
Yeah, I did make a Wicked I also made a few Wizard of Oz references. That one was just me saying the two other witches need to fuck.
They do. They probably do. They are, I believe, 2 women. So, that'd be right up your alley.
Hell yeah.
Do you have any other questions? Because I feel like there's nothing else I can talk about.
I think we got all of that out of the way.
But yes, there is old people sex.
That is hilarious.
Also, the fact that he's like a 990-year-old virgin, like, props, King. Props.
Oh, man.
Way to go. Like, she hasn't been with someone for a long time. That's one of the things she talks about in the part of the chapter that's from her perspective, is the last person that she was with was one of the... basically turned her off sex, basically. He was one of those people who was like, that's right, I know how to please a woman. And then she was like, was I supposed to feel anything? Like, hello? Like, one of those type of people. And she's like, Hector's not like that. Oh.
She's like, fam, I'm this immortal witch who can get it with any guy whenever I want. You think you're special? Get the fuck out.
Like, she's like, dude, this 998-year-old virgin is better than you. What are you doing? Guy has no experience. He's doing way better. In a barn with hay.
In a barn with hay. Just go fuck a dragon.
Mind you, after they're done, you know, they're like doing a little bit of a cuddle. They try to say, oh, we need to distance ourselves afterwards, and, you know, stuff like that, because colleagues and shit. Uh-huh. This is when they're still in the thought process that they can just fix shit. Their gnomes walk in after the
Okay. Alright. Sorry, Nomi guys. Guess you weren't so wrong after all.
Yeah. Also, I think it's cute that the undead gnome lives in, like, this cute little cottage thing.
Hell yeah. That undead gnome is living the best afterlife he can.
Hell yeah. Like, I feel him. He's a grumpy little bitch, but I feel him. Alright, what's our... since there's no other things to talk about. Like, yeah, it's literally just the magic. That's my big problem. Mm-hmm. I do recommend this book, though. Like I said, I wanted to read it in one sitting.
Hell yeah. Now I gotta read it.
I'll mail it to you with your Christmas stuff.
Hell yeah, dude. What do I want the next episode?
What are you reading next?
Fuck. Hazelthorn. Alright. I'm just really excited to read it. I'm really excited to read it. More excited than Addie Rue.
What is Addie Rue?
Adeline Rue? The Invisible Life of Adeline Rue?
Never heard of it.
It is a book about a girl who made a deal with death, I believe, that she will not be remembered by anybody who meets her. Like, they'll look away from her and immediately forget her, just so that she can avoid an arranged marriage, but then now she's immortal. But then she meets somebody who remembers her.
Oh, I mean, I guess it's a great way to get away with crime.
Yeah. I mean, not even the government can remember her. It is a tragedy. I've been warned. Okay. It's a tragedy. And then the other option is gothic horror, gay shit, so, like, yeah.
I mean, that is your bread and butter. You've read 2 at this point.
Has it been 2 for this series already? Gothic gay stuff? Yeah? Okay. I mean, I definitely have read...
Well, technically one of them was straight.
Is technically one of them straight? Oh, yeah, one of them was straight. I've definitely read way more gothic gay stuff than that, though, so...
Your library is just full of gothic gay shit.
There's a lot of straight stuff in there, though.
Yeah, you can't get away from it.
No, and, like, some of it's fine. Like, I can get away with reading straight stuff. I can imagine myself as the guy in the situation.
Fair, yeah.
Join us next episode, when I hopefully no longer have a head cold, and we will be reviewing Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews.